Do you ever wonder why some relationships flourish while others fizzle out? It's a question that has puzzled many of us. The answer lies in nurturing healthy relationships, a critical aspect of our lives that deserves our attention. These relationships, whether they're friendships, romantic partnerships, or familial bonds, require constant reevaluation. It's essential to ensure they align with our personal growth. Are they pushing us forward or holding us back? The cornerstone of any healthy relationship is open and honest communication. It's the bridge that connects two souls, paving the way for trust and conflict resolution. It's not always easy, and it's often uncomfortable, but it's always worth it. So, are you ready to unlock the key to lasting connections? In the next few minutes, we will explore practical ways to nurture and maintain healthy relationships. Stay tuned and prepare to transform your connections into lasting bonds of love and respect. So, how exactly does one nurture a healthy relationship? It starts with self-reflection. Imagine standing before a mirror, not to observe your physical appearance, but to delve into the depths of your inner self. This is the essence of self-reflection, an introspective journey that paves the way for personal growth and stronger relationships. You see, self-reflection is not merely about identifying our strengths and weaknesses. It's about understanding our values, our aspirations, and the ways in which we interact with others. It's about recognizing our patterns of behavior, how they've been shaped, and how they impact our relationships. When we take time to reflect on ourselves, we align our relationships with our personal growth. It's like mapping out a journey. You wouldn't embark on a road trip without knowing your destination, would you? Similarly, understanding our personal growth trajectory helps us make informed decisions about the relationships we choose to foster and maintain. But self-reflection doesn't stop there. It also plays a crucial role in identifying areas of improvement in our relationships. Perhaps you've noticed a cycle of miscommunication, or maybe there's a lack of trust that needs addressing. By reflecting on these issues, we can pinpoint the changes we need to make and take steps towards improving the dynamics of our relationships. Think of self-reflection as the compass that guides your relationship journey. It helps you navigate through the complexities of your interactions, steering you towards healthier, more fulfilling connections. When we understand our needs, our desires, and our patterns of behavior, we create a solid foundation for nurturing our relationships. But remember, self-reflection is not a one-time event, but a continuous process. It requires patience, honesty, and the willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves. It may not always be easy, but the rewards are well worth the effort. Remember, understanding oneself is the first step to understanding others. Once you've reflected on yourself, it's time to open the channels of communication. Indeed, communication is the lifeblood of any relationship, whether personal or professional. But not just any communication. We're talking about open and honest communication, the kind that builds trust and resolves conflicts. Imagine your relationship as a garden. Open and honest communication is like the sunlight that nourishes your garden. Without it, the plants wither, and the garden loses its vibrancy. But with it, the garden thrives and the plants flourish. So, how do we cultivate this sunlight? How do we communicate effectively and respectfully? Firstly, think before you speak. Ensure your words are not just honest but also kind. Remember, honesty without kindness can be brutal. Secondly, listen actively. Communication is a two-way street. When the other person is speaking, listen to understand, not just to respond. Acknowledge their feelings and show empathy. Thirdly, express your feelings as well. Use I statements to convey your emotions without blaming or criticizing the other person. For instance, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," say, "I feel ignored when I'm speaking and it hurts." Fourthly, be clear and concise. Avoid beating around the bush. If you have something to say it directly but respectfully. It saves time and leaves no room for misinterpretation. Lastly, embrace silence. It's okay to pause, collect your thoughts, and then respond. Not every silence is awkward. Some are necessary for understanding and processing. Remember, open and honest communication is not just about speaking your mind. It's about understanding the other person's perspective, respecting their feelings, and building a bridge of trust and understanding between the two of you. And yes, it's not always easy. It requires patience, practice, and a lot of understanding. But the rewards are worth the effort. Because at the end of the day, transparent communication is the bridge to trust and understanding in any relationship. Communication is crucial, but so is establishing boundaries. a sentiment more than worth its weight in gold when it comes to nurturing healthy relationships. It's not about building walls around ourselves, but rather setting up clear guidelines that foster mutual respect and balanced dynamics. Boundaries are like invisible lines that we draw around ourselves to protect our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. They're an essential part of self-care and self-respect, and they play a significant role in fostering healthy relationships. So, how do we set these boundaries? The first step is self-awareness. Understand your limits. Know what you can tolerate and what makes you feel uncomfortable or stressed. These feelings help us identify what our limits are. Next, clearly communicate your boundaries. It's not enough to just know what they are. You need to express them to the people around you. Remember, it's not about making demands or ultimatums, but about having a respectful conversation where you express your needs and wants. Another important aspect is consistency. Once you've set a boundary, it's crucial to stick to it. If you constantly allow others to cross your boundaries, they might start to think that those boundaries are negotiable. It's not always easy, but it's absolutely necessary for the health of your relationships. And lastly, it's okay to adjust your boundaries as needed. As we grow and evolve, our boundaries might change too. It's a sign of growth and self-discovery, not inconsistency. Above all, remember that setting boundaries is not a sign of selfishness. It's a way of saying, I respect myself. It's about making space for your own needs while also respecting others. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where you feel like your boundaries are being crossed, take a step back, reassess, and don't be afraid to communicate your needs. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's a necessary step towards nurturing healthier, more balanced relationships. Boundaries aren't walls, but guidelines that foster respect and understanding. So let's respect ourselves enough to set these boundaries and understand each other enough to honor them. The foundation is set, but what's a relationship without shared moments? Now that we've established some of the key elements to nurturing healthy relationships, let's switch gears and delve into the joy of cultivating quality time. Quality time is like the secret ingredient in a recipe. It's not always obvious, but without it, something feels amiss. It's the bedrock upon which we build emotional bonds and create lasting memories. It's the shared laughter over a silly joke, the comfort of a quiet evening in, or the thrill of exploring new places together. So, how can we cultivate this precious quality time? The answer isn't about clocking hours, but rather about being present and engaged. It could be as simple as sharing a meal together without the distraction of screens, or taking a walk in the park, where you can connect with nature and each other. Quality time can also be about discovering shared interests, or even developing new ones. Have you ever tried cooking a new recipe together, or learning a new language? These activities not only enrich your shared experiences, but also provide opportunities for growth and bonding. And let's not forget the power of traditions. Annual vacations, weekly movie nights, or even monthly book discussions can become cherished rituals that anchor you to each other, creating a sense of continuity and comfort. Remember, the idea here is not about grand gestures or extravagant plans. It's about finding joy in the mundane, sharing experiences, and showing up for each other. It's about being there, fully engaged, fully present, making the most of the moments that you share. So the next time you find yourself asking, how can we spend more time together? Shift your perspective. Ask instead, how can we make our time together more meaningful? Because at the end of the day, quality time isn't about quantity, but the memories you create together. In conclusion, nurturing healthy relationships is a journey, not a destination. It's a dynamic process that involves constant self-reflection. By understanding our needs and aspirations, we can align our relationships with our personal growth. This introspection also helps us to engage in open and honest communication, essential for building trust and resolving conflicts. But communication alone isn't sufficient. We need to set boundaries, establishing mutual respect and creating a balance that benefits all parties involved. These boundaries help define roles and expectations, fostering environments of mutual support. Finally, we must not forget the importance of cultivating quality time. It's through shared experiences and precious moments that we deepen our emotional bonds and create lasting memories. Remember, the key to lasting connections lies in nurturing healthy relationships. Subscribe for more insights on self-improvement and personal growth.